You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, a shelter in the Osho may be relocating.
But first, we break down how to stay safe as Shoal Creek gets crowded this spring.
And an alert day today for strong to severe thunderstorms this evening and overnight, and thunderstorm chances between here and there. We're going to break it down for you coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 a.m. on this Wednesday, April the 1st. It's April Fool's Day. So, of course, if you are doing some pranks, make sure they're safe pranks. Don't hurt yourself or somebody else. I mean, here at the station, it's prank season all year round, but
we like to have a lot of fun. But today we are trying to be a little bit more serious.
We are, and unfortunately, no April Fool's joke from the weather department. We do have that alert day, strong to severe thunderstorms tonight into tomorrow. We're going to break that down for you in a moment. But of course, in between here and prior, it's been really warm outside.
Yeah, and warmer weather means more people hanging out at, some of Joplin's favorite spots.
KOAM's Nellie Lopez spoke with a Shoal Creek Park official and a few local residents on how to stay safe as Shoal Creek gets crowded this spring.
Politeness is important and costs nothing.
Yep, we're all here to enjoy the park.
As warmer weather approaches, Shoal Creek is about to get a lot busier, and with no designated areas for fishing or swimming, safety starts with sharing the space.
Whether that's fishing, whether that's floating, always just being aware of your surroundings, make sure you know who's around, make sure you know who's also occupying that same space, and just kind of being courteous to others is a big part of that as well.
And sometimes it's the simple things, like not leaving trash behind.
Anything you take out with you, take back with you. Don't leave trash and mess behind you. Ideally, it should look like you've never been there.
And it's not just other people you'll be sharing the trails and water with. Wildlife picks up this time of year too.
I would recommend just putting on some bug spray or preparing to see some ticks, mosquitoes, those sort of things. It's definitely important to make sure we're thinking about that as we're getting ready to go.
If there's water with living things in it, there's going to be snakes. So just watch where you're stepping.
One more safety check before heading out. Check the weather. Spring rain can change conditions fast.
As we get some of these spring rains, that water level goes up really quickly. So if you show up to the river or, if it starts raining while you're out, make sure we're checking to see how swift that water is moving, because it might not be a safe situation to just jump in or be fishing.
Whether you decide to go fishing, walking the trails, or floating down the river, make sure you wear your insect and tick repellents, check out for snakes, be aware of your surroundings, and be considerate of others. In Joplin, Nellie Lopez, KOAM News.
Tillman also wants the public to remember to do research on fishing regulations to help be aware of what's allowed.
And I absolutely love that line of, if there's water with living things, there's probably snakes. And he's not wrong.
It's not wrong.
We have Lake KOAM outside. We get an area that anytime we get heavy rain fills with water.
And sometimes
then we get snakes in the building.
Station. Yeah.
Like I said before, once our former Fox weekend anchor, Mike Mahoney, you folks at home may remember him, when I was doing the weekend news, I went out to get something off the printer and there was a snake in the hallway, and I just went like, Mahoney, I need you, we got a problem I need you to address in the hallway. And he addressed it, so.
It's always a weekend problem, because when I used to work weekends, we got snakes. It's like if they don't want to come on a weekday when there's more people to help.
Maybe they're more scared of the people, so that's all right. All right, so we do have an alert day in place we got to discuss, and that's for some severe weather tonight. Let's start, though, with today, and a live look from the KOAM studios, the West Coast camera on top of our building. Winds have eased up. That flag was blowing pretty good earlier this morning. It is not doing so now. It's pretty calm out there. And you can see some of those thunderheads off to the east out there as well. KDOT camera 69400, still drying out, at least for now, until more rain arrives, and cloudy skies from the MoDOT camera 32nd and range line in Joplin as well. So here's Skywatch Storm Tracker, thunderstorm activity exiting. We got these little spotty showers. So here's what we have, and I wanted to explain this very quickly to you all. A change this morning, about 1, 2 o'clock in some of the data. We got 4 pieces of data that all say scattered storms are going to redevelop this morning. And some of those could be strong, potentially severe. They all agree on that. What they didn't agree on was the timing. Some of them said it should be underway right now, which it's not. Others said between now and about 10 a.m. it would get going. So we're going to wait and see, but they all agree on these scattered storms. Right now, though, the main complex, what's left of it, is rolling to our east. We have just a couple of showers here and there, so we'll see what happens. Now, the severe threat, this is for tonight, or well, this evening into tomorrow morning. So from about 6 o'clock tonight through 7 a.m. tomorrow. All hazards are possible. Those hatch marks indicating the potential for maybe very large hail and the potential for an isolated strong tornado. But remember, this is a potential. These things tell us that the atmosphere could support this. It doesn't guarantee it's going to happen, but it could support it if it did. So that's why they put those out there saying that's the greatest risk we could see. Our temperatures very mild, 69 in Joplin, 63 in Pittsburgh. This is the boundary that those computer models are saying storms are likely to develop on. And you can see that sharp contrast, 50 in the 8th center, and then ahead of it, 70s, Veneta, Miami, and Neosho. And so that's where storm development is expected into southeast Kansas, parts of northeast Oklahoma at some point in the next few hours this morning. This future track is one that believed those storms would develop closer to 10 a.m. So by starting it at noon, take this and move it 2 hours back, and it's right where it should be. So scattered storms one way or the other through the day, some of which could be strong to severe, but this is very isolated. By 6, though, activity starts to flare up. By 8, we've got this whole complex of strong to severe thunderstorms starting to roll through, and it's almost a guarantee that these storms, maybe not every single one, but there's going to be severe threat with these storms as we head into the evening. Temperatures upper 60s by 9, about 70 by noon. We're looking at highs mid upper 70s, south winds gusting to 25. We're going to talk more about our severe threat today and the severe threat that returns on Friday in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. A former Cherokee County, Kansas deputy has changed his plea to guilty in a federal child pornography case. Court records show Garrett Gayoso entered the plea in Wichita after previously pleading not guilty. Investigators say Gayoso met a juvenile on a site meant for 18-year-olds, but the victim was 16. And documents say Gayoso knew the age and kept communicating sexual content. Authorities report finding more than 24,000 texts and 119 images exchanged between August 2024 and January 2025. Sentencing is set for June 29th. Gayoso faces up to 20 years in prison. Pittsburgh police say a welfare check call involving a reported firearm has led to an arrest on drug and weapon charges, but it comes after a long search. Officers say Justin Collins ran from a home on Iris Lane March 14th. Investigators later found a stolen firearm, meth, and drug paraphernalia there. Local county and state authorities have now captured Collins in Frontenac, Kansas. A search warrant was sought to search the home in connection with the ongoing investigation into Collins' case in Pittsburgh. Police also arrested a resident of the house, 41-year-old woman from Frontenac, Demetra Ann Durden, for felony interference with law enforcement and felony obstructing apprehension or prosecution. The Restoration Life Center in Neosho, Missouri held a town hall meeting to discuss a proposed shelter relocation. The relocation is contingent on a proposed trade with the city of Neosho in which RLC would acquire property, which is the city's current fire station and police station, as well as old city hall land. The city would acquire RLC's current thrift store. If the final vote goes through on April 7th, the current facilities would still be used until the police and fire department relocate no later than 2030.
We have some property that's been sitting idle for 20 plus years. When they approached us, it gave us the opportunity and some advantages to gain some property closer to our downtown square that could have some future use and benefit to citizens who visit the square. So we saw it as a possible way to expand the city's control of parking or other things around the square.
Mayor Davidson says first response operations would not be interrupted by this trade as they will have a new facility by then. Families across the 4 states are struggling to put food on the table, a problem that could grow worse as federal assistance programs face potential cuts. Crawford County residents gathered at the Homer Cole Center in Pittsburgh to tackle the crisis and collect pantry donations for the Wesley House to help families in need. The community forum examined how 2025 congressional budget cuts to nutrition programs could impact millions of students and families. Analysis shows the cuts could force local schools to drop free meal programs, leaving vulnerable children without access to breakfast and lunch.
The state then is put in this position of trying to figure out, do they cut those particular programs or those particular benefits for those kids, or does the state try to put them into their own budget and then come up with the funding for their own budget? So it's like we either cut the benefits or we got to come up with the funding from a different source if the federal government's not going to be providing it anymore.
When it comes to families receiving SNAP benefits, Shepard says there will be additional requirements to prove eligibility. And those are our top news stories this half hour. We'll be right back. Topping Health Watch. A list of the most stressed states across the country has been released, and southern and southwestern states are coming in at the top. Wallet Hub found that Louisiana, Kentucky, New Mexico, West Virginia, and Arkansas were the top 5 most stressed states. The 3 least stressed were Minnesota, Utah, and South Dakota. Experts say high poverty rates, limited access to mental health and health care, and job insecurity were major contributors to the rankings. High crime rates, financial instability, and family issues were also major indicators. Well, Fox News exclusive about the development of what could turn out to be a vaccine against fentanyl. The medication is now being tested on human beings. Fox News Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel takes a look at the prospects for a major breakthrough.
It's a lethal but silent killer.
Human trials are underway on a promising new vaccine that could prevent deadly fentanyl overdoses. 8 patients are being dosed this week in the Netherlands, where it is being administered in a controlled setting. It works like a flu shot by neutralizing the fentanyl and stopping it.
In animals, we've seen a 98% blockade, up to a 98% blockade of fentanyl from reaching the brain.
The goal is one oral dose that will provide up to 12 months of protection. Andrea Thomas lost her daughter Ashley to a pill laced with fentanyl and says a vaccine is an important part of the fight.
We need prevention, education, enforcement, treatment, and innovation all working together. And this vaccine really gives us hope. If we can just save one life, that matters so much.
Fentanyl is the leading killer of Americans age 18 to 45. Experts say the synthetic opioid is up to 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. Gage praises the Trump administration for responding to the threat.
This administration has done more for anyone against the fentanyl crisis, specifically President Trump, RFK Jr., in terms of their plans against addiction and overdose than any other prior administration.
The drug manufacturer says unlike Narcan, this vaccine can be given well in advance, preventative rather than reactive in an emergency. Once approved, it intends to prioritize first responders and the military who face the risk of exposure. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Well, coming up, we check out Missouri's largest municipal bike park.
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 7:17, coming up on 7:18 on this Wednesday morning. So here's the deal. We've just got a few of these showers out there, and that's it. The main thunderstorms that were in our area, they've moved on. But we're awaiting now is what the computer data says is going to happen in the next few hours is new development across southeastern Kansas and into northeast Oklahoma of additional scattered storms across the area, and some of those could end up being strong, potentially low-grade severe. It's something we want to watch. Right now, we've had things try, but they haven't been successful. And as I discussed earlier, some of the data says it should already be underway by now. Obviously, that hasn't taken place. The other set of data suggests closer to 10 a.m., between now and 10 a.m. So we're just going to have to kind of wait and see. Let's discuss our severe threats. And this is for this evening, overnight, into early tomorrow morning. That's what our alert day is for. So we have a level 2 out of 5 in the yellow for all categories. All hazards are possible. And then those hash marks, especially on hail and tornado, indicating the potential for isolated very large hail and perhaps an isolated strong tornado. I again want to emphasize these are suggestions of what could happen. When these outlooks come out, they are an expression of what the greatest possible threat could be based on atmospheric conditions and a number of other parameters. It is not a guarantee that that is what you're going to see. It's simply saying that given the situation and the setup it's a possibility. That's the greatest severe concern or greatest severe risk with the storms. So that's why we want to make sure you've got the KOAM Skywatch weather app, weather radio, however you get severe weather alerts today, tonight, tomorrow morning, make sure it's turned on, plugged in, charged, and turned up with this severe threat. So let's go on to this future track. Again, this is the one of the ones that suggested storms develop a little closer to 10 a.m. So starting at noon, we just back it up a bit, and it jives with that same zone we were talking about. This will then move through, triggering additional scattered storms across the area today. And again, some of these could be strong to low-grade severe, something we certainly want to watch very closely. Then, as we get past 6, so between 5 and 7, we get rapid thunderstorm development along this boundary. These storms will very likely intensify and become severe very quickly. So you need to make sure after 5 o'clock this evening, you're really watching. Now, also on this future track, at least right now, this batch of storms doesn't do a lot of moving. It takes another complex that's developing out along I-35 in Oklahoma, eventually starts pushing this direction, and then finally shoves this business to the east. What we have to watch out for are these Boeing segments that you see here and there, and then the notches that we get in some locations, because that's where spin-up tornadoes could be, and with these Boeing segments, that's where damaging straight-line winds could be. This complex does shrink in size, but is likely still severe. This is 1 o'clock Thursday morning. There's those notches again, still showing that's an impressive Boeing segment. This one not as impressive, but still there. And then we get new development. So this line dies out, pushing east, and those storms developing to the west take over with another severe threat by 3 o'clock Thursday morning. Again, with all hazards possible, with additional strong to potentially severe storms developing behind that. Now that complex dies out. This one begins to weaken a smidge, but could still be strong to severe by 5 a.m. It's along and east of I-49 primarily, and by about 7 or 8, it is out of here. And so that's what we've got to watch. And then once we get beyond today, we go into Friday evening and overnight into Saturday morning, another level 2 out of 5 risk for strong to severe thunderstorms that we have to keep a very close eye on. So make sure you're staying weather aware, and of course we'll keep you updated with any watches or warnings that show up. As for today, leaving those scattered storms out there, although we're not seeing that development take place yet, we've just got to watch it. We'll be mid-60s to start, about 70 by 11, highs today into the upper 70s. Maybe some low 80s. We'll go mid-60s tonight, about 80 tomorrow. After the storms clear out, south winds gusting to 40. Cold front Friday brings that next round of storms, wrapping up Saturday morning. We're warm, then cooler. Easter, dry, cool, but seasonably so. Upper 50s, low 60s, hanging on to the 60s for most of next week. That's checking your forecast. We are back with more after this.
In Consumer Watch, Dunkin' isn't joking around this April Fool's Day. The coffee giant confirmed it will carry on its tradition of giving away 1 million free hot or iced coffees today in honor of April Fools. Except this year, Dunkin' says it will give away 1,000,001. Dunkin' Rewards members can redeem the free drink on the app with code STILL NOT A JOKE, but fans better hurry. The promotion is capped at 1,000,001 coffee drinkers. The promo code is valid for up to 7 days after entry. Well, Google is offering users redemption who regret the name of their current email addresses. The company announced yesterday that all U.S. Google account users can now change their username by going to the Google account settings page. Users will be able to use the new email address to sign into Google services such as Gmail, Maps, YouTube, Google Play, and Google Drive. If a person changes their username, Google says it will still retain the user's previous data, including emails, photos, and messages. Users will also still be able to receive emails at their former Gmail address. However, Google recommends backing up user data beforehand and urges users to check to see if there are extra precautions to take if they use a Chromebook. Sign in with Google for non-Google sites or connect remotely with a Chrome remote desktop. Users will only be able to create a new email every 12 months. Well, as the countdown to the midterm elections ticks on, a new executive order from the White House is looking to shake up the cycle. Fox News' Kevin Uretsky takes a closer look at President Trump's messages about voter integrity and mail-in ballots, plus the swift backlash his order is generating.
President Trump signed an executive order Tuesday in the Oval Office, authorizing the creation of a nationwide list of eligible voters.
We'd like to have voter ID. Would like to have proof of citizenship, and that'll be another subject for another time.
The Department of Homeland Security and the Social Security Administration have been tasked with making a list of verified voters from every state. Trump's order also calls on the Postal Service to not send absentee ballots to people who aren't on a state's approved list, citing disproved and false claims of voter fraud linked to mail-in ballots.
The cheating on mail-in voting is legendary. It's horrible what's gone on.
The Trump administration is also looking to place tracking barcodes on secure envelopes for mail-in ballots.
I don't know how it can be challenged. I'll probably challenge it.
Many Democrats are sounding alarms.
We're not going to let this stand.
And several states are already promising to take legal action.
Nowhere does the Constitution contemplate the president taking over federal elections. But when you take a step back, this really looks like the president is trying to pick his own voters,
including Oregon and Arizona, both of which heavily rely on mail-in ballots.
The restrictions on ballot by mail are more than ironic, particularly in Arizona, where 82% of our voters vote by mail and elected Donald Trump by mail in 2024, and he himself voted by mail just a week or so ago.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch, Dunkin' isn't joking around this April Fool's Day. The coffee giant confirmed it will carry on its tradition of giving away 1 million free hot or iced coffees today in honor of April Fools. Except this year, Dunkin' says it will give away 1,000,001. Dunkin' Rewards members can redeem the free drink on the app with code Still Not a Joke, but fans better hurry. The promotion is capped at 1,000,001 coffee drinkers. The promo code is valid for up to 7 days after entry. Well, Google is offering users redemption who regret the name of their current email addresses. The company announced yesterday that all U.S. Google account users can now change their username by going to the Google account settings page. Users will be able to use the new email address to sign into Google services such as Gmail, Maps, YouTube, Google Play, and Google Drive. If a person changes their username, Google says it will still retain the user's previous data, including emails, photos, and messages. Users will also still be able to receive emails at their former Gmail address. However, Google recommends backing up user data beforehand and urges users to check to see if there are extra precautions to take if they use a Chromebook, sign in with Google for non-Google sites, or connect remotely with a Chrome remote desktop. Users will only be able to create a new email every 12 months. Well, as the countdown to the midterm elections ticks on, a new executive order from the White House is looking to shake up the cycle. Fox News' Kevin Uretsky takes a closer look at President Trump's messages about voter integrity and mail-in ballots, plus the swift backlash his order is generating.
President Trump signed an executive order Tuesday in the Oval Office, authorizing the creation of a nationwide list of eligible voters.
We'd like to have voter ID. Would like to have proof of citizenship, and that'll be another subject for another time.
The Department of Homeland Security and the Social Security Administration have been tasked with making a list of verified voters from every state. Trump's order also calls on the Postal Service to not send absentee ballots to people who aren't on a state's approved list, citing disproved and false claims of voter fraud linked to mail-in ballots.
The cheating on mail-in voting is legendary. It's horrible what's gone on.
The Trump administration is also looking to place tracking barcodes on secure envelopes for mail-in ballots.
I don't know how it can be challenged. I'll probably challenge it.
Many Democrats are sounding alarms.
We're not going to let this stand.
And several states are already promising to take legal action.
Nowhere does the Constitution contemplate the president taking over federal elections. But when you take a step back, this really looks like the president is trying to pick his own voters,
including Oregon and Arizona, both of which heavily rely on mail-in ballots.
The restrictions on ballot by mail are more than ironic, particularly in Arizona, where 82% of our voters vote by mail and elected Donald Trump by mail in 2024, and he himself voted by mail just a week or so ago.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. We'll be right back.
The tax at Wesco Home Furnishings. Tax time is the time to take your savings to the max. Low prices plus save the tax. Ashley Sofa, $4.99. Save the tax. Rucker Recliner, $4.99. Save the tax. Dual reclining sofa, $9.99. Save the tax. 5-piece dining set, $5.79. Save the tax. Plus special interest financing up to 48 months. Max your tax refund and save the tax. Now at Wesco Home Furnishings.
Every night's a winning night at Outpost Casino. Over $500,000 in total cash and prizes will go in April. Come win your share. Thursdays from 4 to 8 p.m. Play your favorite machine for your chance to win your share of over $30,000. No wonder Outpost Casino is everyone's favorite little hotspot with big casino winnings. Outpost Casino, Highway 1010C on the Oklahoma-Missouri border. TheOutpostCasino.com for daily promotions.
Wow. Yeah, can you believe what's happening at VisionWorks? It's buy one, get one free.
Even more wow.
Wow is right. Make your tax refund go further. VisionWorks. See the difference.
Meet the faces you trust. KOAM News Now's on-air team, bringing you trusted news, weather, and sports every day. Download our app today. KOAM News Now, the 4 states' most watched news.
Ready to upgrade your wardrobe and your impact? WG Marketplace isn't your average thrift store. Think boutique vibes with a mission. Every dollar you spend helps those struggling with homelessness through Watered Gardens Ministries. In fact, half of our staff live on our campuses. Our results? 178 guests landed jobs, and 126 found their way out of homelessness. Your next favorite find is waiting, and so is someone's fresh start. WG Marketplace. Shop with purpose. Give with impact.
The Downtown Pittsburgh Camera is sponsored by Pittsburgh State University and the City of Pittsburgh.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:30. I'm Samantha Walker. Students at Cunningham High School in South Central Kansas are putting the finishing touches on a unique class project. The teenagers spent the school year building a fully functional 1-bedroom house that will go to auction next month. The 14 by 28-foot home includes a full kitchen and washer-dryer setup. For the school's industrial arts teacher, the home is a project several years in the making. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, and again, we have that alert day today, and that is for the chance for some severe thunderstorms later this evening, overnight into early tomorrow morning. Skywatch Storm Tracker, main thunderstorm complex is out. Isolated showers are in, and we are again just waiting to see if the computers are right. I mean, 4 of them said storms are expected. Like I said this morning, they just don't agree on the timing. But we are, and in all honesty, looking at some of the data and stuff, I do believe we're still going to get that development across Kansas and Oklahoma. It's just a matter of exactly when, but should be in by 10 o'clock. So just be prepared for that. All right, downtown Pittsburgh looking pretty good so far, as is the KDOT camera 69400 and the MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. Mostly cloudy skies out there, getting a little sunlight in. There's those showers again continuing to roll on through. We've had showers, we've had thunderstorms. And this is the zone along this boundary that we're expecting development. Now, here's our severe risk, and I want to address this. This is for this evening, tonight, and early tomorrow morning. All hazards are possible with a level 2 out of 5 in parts of Kansas and Oklahoma and reaching into parts of southwest Missouri. Again, those hatch marks indicating the potential for very large hail or the potential for an isolated strong tornado. It again is a potential for, it is not a guarantee of. It is simply, this is saying that this is the maximum potential hazard with storms today. It's not a guarantee, but based on the environment, it's something that could happen. So that's why you need to remain weather aware. Keep Skywatch Weather app handy. Make sure that you have ways to receive alerts and that those ways are plugged in, charged, and or turned up tonight. 69 in Joplin right now, 64 in Pittsburgh. There's the boundary, and that's why we're awaiting new storm development, because back behind it, take a look, Yates Center, the cool spot at 50 degrees. And then you get ahead of that boundary, we've got upper 60s, and we've even had some low 70s this morning ahead of that. This future track, one that believes this development will take place between now and about 10 a.m., so you back it up a couple hours and put this complex here by 10. Scattered showers, thunderstorms, more of them are expected to develop through the day, some of which could be strong to potentially severe. And then our main complex, 6 o'clock, we start seeing thunderstorm development, and it rapidly increases, and it's almost a guarantee that some of these storms are going to be severe as we head into the evening. So it's about 7, 8 o'clock tonight. So that's again why you need to remain weather aware. So scattered showers, storms through the day, upper 60s by 9, about 70 by noon. Highs today eventually mid-upper 60s, south winds gusting to 25. Today, tonight, and early tomorrow, not our only severe risk. It returns again Friday evening. Details on all of that in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Thanks, Chris. The city of Joplin announces plans to unveil Missouri's largest municipal bike park with a grand celebration next month. The city will celebrate the grand launch party for its Momentum Bike Park on Saturday, May 2nd. The 95-acre facility, featuring 10 miles of trails and over 132,000 square feet of specialized riding features, promises an action-packed day. The event will feature friendly competitions, exciting races, and demonstrations from experienced riders, showing off some of the facility's main features. Visitors can also expect plenty of food trucks, vendor booths, and giveaways. Well, Missouri Southern State University has named Dr. David Mays as its new Dean of Students and Title IX Coordinator. The university says Mays brings years of higher ed leadership experience with executive roles as campuses across Arkansas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma. Officials say he's overseen a wide range of student services, from admissions and housing to counseling, campus safety, and Title IX administration. Well, coming up next, we're here with the Missouri International Order of the Rainbow for Girls as they celebrate 100 years. We're going to have that interview. Well, we have a packed studio this morning. I'm so excited. We have Jory, Trentley, and Ella, and they're with the Missouri International Order of the Rainbow for Girls. Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Well, for those at home who may not know, can you tell us a little bit about what is the Missouri International Order of the Rainbow for Girls?
So the Missouri International Order of the Rainbow for Girls is an organization for girls ages 11 to 21 that gives girls the ability to build confidence and learn leadership skills and how to run a business, or not a business, but like a business meeting. We do a lot with building confidence and doing teamwork within a team, and just including girls and just having them get together and just doing a lot of fun stuff, and just doing service and teamwork. We mostly focus on community service.
Amazing. Can you tell me some of the different things that maybe you guys have done throughout the community, the ways you've been involved in, or activities you guys have done?
Of course. In my personal chapter, we like to focus on the Ronald McDonald House. That is a huge fundraiser that we like to do. Right now, as a statewide, we are raising money for breast cancer through the fundraiser Susan G. Coleman. That started in Dallas, Texas. So we've been raising funds for that throughout the year. Last year, our president decided that she wanted to do the Ronald McDonald House as well. So we collected tons of pop tabs and raised money for that as well. We do a lot of big fundraisers around.
Amazing. And the great thing is, this is an organization, it's not new, it has a long history.
Yes.
You guys are actually celebrating something pretty big this year
yes,
as well.
Our 100th year anniversary will be celebrated this year.
We will be celebrating it on the 4th of April at King Jack Park at the Miners Building, because that is actually where Rainbow first started, was in Webb City. And it will be from 10 to noon. We will have little historical facts and artifacts from when Rainbow first started, and throughout the year. More girls will be arriving at closer to noon probably, because we're like a statewide thing, and there will be food and games and just a lot of cool stuff about the International Order of Rainbow for Girls. So we do recommend coming if you were a past Rainbow Girl or something, or if you want to know more about the organization.
And how special is it going to be able to get to meet and interact with Rainbow Girls from, maybe throughout generations?
Yeah, it is definitely super exciting. I know that my family personally digs kind of generational into Rainbow, so it's been around for a very long time, and I love just hearing the different stories and how the organization has grown throughout the years. So I'm hoping to hear a lot of stories about that and hoping to kind of learn just about how it was back in the day.
Well, with such a historic milestone happening right now, it sounds like now is, what better time to get involved. If people at home are listening, like, this sounds like a great organization, and maybe get involved in a great way to maybe build up my confidence or my kiddo at home's confidence, a great way to get involved in the community. Is there a certain place they should go to look to learn more information or find their own local chapter?
Yeah, of course. For information, we do have a website. It's called the International Order of the Rainbow for Girls, and in there you can actually choose which state you are interested in joining, because Rainbow is all throughout states and countries all over the world. So our website will give you a lot of information. This event, if you're interested in coming, I would absolutely encourage you to, and come get information on our local assemblies. All of our assemblies come all throughout Missouri, so we definitely have a spot for you if you're interested.
Perfect, and we'll make sure to get all of that information as well linked on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. It sounds like it's going to be such a fun time.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys. We'll be right back.
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is coming up on 7:54 on this Wednesday morning. We're starting with Skywatch Storm Tracker. We got a few isolated showers. Main thunderstorm complex is pushed on out of here. Not much else occurring right now. Again, just anticipating development eventually along this boundary. And so that's what we're waiting for, to see what happens with that. Now, this severe risk, which I'll get out of the way for, this is for this evening, overnight, into early tomorrow morning. I, again, cannot stress enough the need to be weather aware. Have the Skywatch weather app handy, or whatever your preferred way of getting severe weather alerts is, needs to be plugged in, charged, turned up, as we head into the evening and overnight hours, as all hazards are possible. And again, those hatch marks indicating the possibility of some very large hail, isolated very large hail, and an isolated strong tornado. As I mentioned earlier, though, again, this to stress, this is a possibility. These outlooks, what they do is they outline what the maximum severe potential is based on the environment, the available energy, everything like that. It's not a guarantee that we're going to see very large hail or a strong tornado. Simply saying that it is a possibility we want to keep a close eye on. Again, this future track picking up on that thunderstorm complex, which has not yet developed across Kansas and Oklahoma. So starting at noon, if we were to back this up a couple of hours, it would line up with that boundary right where we were talking, where between now and 10 a.m., scattered storms are expected to develop. More scattered storms throughout the day, some of which could be strong, potentially severe, but it's a very isolated, confined situation initially. What we're eventually going to see, though, is this evening between 5 and 7, rapid thunderstorm development ahead of this boundary out here. And these storms are going to, again, rapidly develop and very likely rapidly intensify, becoming strong to severe very quickly. So you need to be prepared. Once these storms get going, it's not going to be one of those things like, okay, there's some showers out there, I've got time to run to the grocery store. You don't. They're going to intensify very quickly. The other issue we're facing, at least on this particular future track and some other data, is here we are at 9. We've gone 2 more hours. These storms have expanded in coverage, but they haven't moved. It takes, at least based on this data this morning, this complex out by I-35, eventually it shoves east and then finally kicks all of this to the east. But what we have to watch out for are these Boeing segments and the little notches within these lines of storms, because that's where damaging straight line winds are a possibility and spin up tornadoes would be a possibility. That's why we have to watch this. So this is 11 o'clock. These storms, again, strong, severe storms, very likely still ongoing. Now, the initial complex looks to weaken just a smidge in terms of coverage, but very likely still severe. Look at that bow section showing up there, a little one here, but then also these little notches is what we've really got to watch. Now, this line, as it pushes east of I-49, this is 1 a.m. tomorrow morning, it begins to weaken. Still could be strong, but it weakens. Storms that develop behind it have now intensified, and now we have another round of severe thunderstorms pushing through at 3 a.m. and additional strong, potentially severe storms behind that at 3 a.m. Then eventually it begins to shove east, it continues east rather, and by 5 a.m. we're really along and east of the I-49 corridor, still strong to severe thunderstorms possible, and by about 7 a.m. it'll finally wrap up. Now today though, and tonight, tomorrow morning, not our only severe risk. We go into Friday and we have that level 2 out of 5 risk across the region again for Friday evening into Saturday morning. So we still got to stay weather aware. Right now we're focusing on today, tonight, early tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow, once that round clears out, we'll talk more about Friday as well into what we're looking at this point. Mid-60s to start our day, about 70 by 11. Again, leaving those scattered storm chances up there while we're not seeing anything yet. They could get going at about any time, so we'll watch that. We'll go 80 tomorrow. After the storms, south winds gusting to 40. Upper 70s near 80 as we go into Friday. Then that cold front arrives, and that's the thing. This is a whole-on cold front. Brings our temperatures down. We're into the upper 50s Saturday. Easter still looking good. Dry, cool, but seasonable in the low 60s. And we hang on to the 60s through most of next week. That is a check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this. Well, despite the lack of privacy, this might look like a luxury bathroom experience. I love how these are set up. We're saying it. This might look like a luxury bathroom experience. And in all honesty, it probably would be. But what we're going to show you is actually a political art piece. Visitors to the National Mall in Washington can take a seat on a large throne with a golden toilet, critiquing U.S. President Donald Trump's renovations to the White House.
The luxurious lavatory, made to resemble marble and gold, features a toilet instead of a seat, with a plaque that reads, "A throne fit for a king." It is the newest installment made to provoke President Trump that has appeared on the National Mall and sits on the steps leading up to the Lincoln Memorial.
Now, Trump's latest renovation of the proposed White House ballroom is awaiting to clear a key procedural hurdle this week. The National Capital Planning Commission, responsible for approving construction on federal buildings, is expected to authorize the president's $400 million project for a new 90,000 square foot ballroom addition at its meeting tomorrow. And I do want to mention, by the way, if I was ever the president, I don't need a golden toilet, but if I was going to add on to the White House, I'd put like a Wendy's or a McDonald's, because, you know, it's so hard for the president to get out and be normal. Yeah. I would have to have it at the White House. Like, there, now I can go. The kids can go to McDonald's. I don't eat all that fancy food in the kitchen. I'm not going to eat that business.
And you can't have like somebody just go get it and bring it back to you, because by the time it gets back to you, it's
all
cold.
The security procedures. They got to scan the food. I'm like, I just need it right there on site.
Yeah, there we go. Well, according to the old adage, neither snow nor rain can stop the mail from being delivered, but it seems like a turkey can.
That's definitely not in their creed. This is a stretch of Church Street in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. That's where some residents say they're not receiving their mail because turkeys are attacking the postal carriers.
While some residents regard the wild birds as neighborhood pets, they're apparently wreaking havoc on postal workers. It's reached the point that some homeowners are having to pick up their mail at the post office for the time being.
Now, residents say they're hopeful the terrorizing turkeys move on soon so they can get back to business as usual. For now, many of their mailboxes remain empty.
The U.S. Postal Service was contacted for comment.
But you know, here's the deal, man. Turkeys can get you. We've seen plenty of those videos where they go after, they're always after delivery drivers.
Birds are mean.
They can be.
And turkeys are large birds.
They are very large birds indeed. Dinosaurs are back. Closer than you think. A new full-body virtual reality trip lets people step into the world of prehistoric giants.
Top paleontologists teamed up with London's Natural History Museum on the Age of Dinosaurs game, and players can say it's as close as you can come to the real thing. Creators say scientists have checked every scale, muscle, and tooth, bringing the ancient creatures back to life.
Now, the game launches in the U.S. this week at a special virtual reality venues, so now think of it this way. Think of Jurassic Park. Now let's tie it all in. Everything we've just talked about. You get Jurassic Park. You get real dinosaurs, and like in the movie where the lawyer was eaten while he was on the John. Now, he wasn't using the John, but he was on the John. Now you get that golden throne, the marble throne, and the dinosaur eats you off the giant throne.
Luckily, these
That's
are virtual ones. These are virtual ones,
They can't
so we're
really eat
okay.
you. You got to look at your wake up recap. Another look at your forecast after this.
This is your Wake Up Recap for April 1st. Your top stories to start your day. A former Cherokee County, Kansas deputy has changed his plea to guilty in a federal child pornography case. Court records show Garrett Gayoso entered the plea in Wichita after previously pleading not guilty. Investigators say Gayoso met a juvenile on a site meant for 18-year-olds, but the victim was 16, and documents say Gayoso knew the age and kept communicating sexual content. Gayoso faces up to 20 years in prison. Pittsburgh police say a welfare check call involving a reported firearm has led to an arrest on drugs and weapons charges, but it comes after a long search. Officers say Justin Collins ran from a home on Iris Lane March 14th. Investigators later found a stolen firearm, meth, and drug paraphernalia there. Local county and state authorities have now captured Collins in Frontenac, Kansas. That's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
And again, for our forecast alert day today for severe weather tonight or this evening, tonight and early tomorrow morning with all hazards possible. Still watching that potential for thunderstorm development this morning. And those storms, if they get going, could become strong to severe. Just reading the latest updates, that cap we talk about that stops thunderstorm development, very weak across the area. So we are still watching for that chance for additional thunderstorms this morning. Mid-upper 70s, breezy, south winds gusting to 25. Thunderstorms increasing in coverage and, of course, becoming severe late this evening and overnight, back into the mid-60s. Tomorrow, storms through about 7 a.m., very likely going to be strong to severe. And then south winds tomorrow gusting to 40. Another severe threat Friday evening into early Saturday as well, with a cold front bringing our temperatures down. So a lot to keep an eye on. And of course, any storms pop up, do anything this morning, we will certainly let you know. Make sure you stay weather aware, and we'll have more news and weather for you at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.